Welcome back to Top 5.
Audition, 1999. A film by Takashi Miike that begins as a tender exploration of loneliness and the search for love, swiftly devolving into a disturbing commentary on gender roles and violence. The story revolves around Shigeharu Aoyama, a middle-aged widower whose son urges him to seek companionship. To ease the process, Aoyama's friend stages a phony audition for a film, where several women vie for a role, but the real purpose is to find a potential partner. Among the women is Asami, a quiet yet enigmatic candidate whose dark past gradually unfolds. As the film progresses, Aoyama's romantic naivety becomes apparent, leading to brutal revelations and psychological torment. Miike's shocking imagery, combined with the gradual unraveling of Asami's twisted personality, creates an unsettling atmosphere that lingers long after the credits roll. 9. The Human Centipede, First Sequence, 2009. This Dutch horror film by Tom Six turns stomachs with its grotesque premise. Dr. Hyder, a deranged surgeon specializing in separating conjoined twins, captures 3 unsuspecting tourists. His horrifying ambition is to surgically connect them into a human centipede, a single digestive system formed by stitching their mouths to one another. The film's strength lies not in its gore but rather in its psychological terror. The sense of helplessness experienced by the victims and the chilling calm of Hyder create an atmosphere of dread. The sheer absurdity of the concept has made it a landmark in disturbing cinema, forcing viewers to question both their thresholds for horror and the depths of human depravity. 8. Kids, 1995. Larry Clark's film serves as a raw, unfiltered look into the lives of teenagers in 1990s New York City. The narrative follows Telly, a young sexually promiscuous boy who prides himself on deflowering virgins, and his friend Casper as they roam the city looking for their next fix of thrill and pleasure. The film dives into themes of casual sex, addiction, and the recklessness of youth, culminating in a tragic twist when a young girl discovers she has been infected with HIV by Telly. Kids presents a stark portrayal of adolescence, layered with a voyeuristic lens that leaves audiences confronting uncomfortable truths about modern society, sexual responsibility, and the fragility of life. 7. Irreversible, 2002. Gaspar Noé's audacious film is structured in reverse chronology, drawing viewers deeper into a nightmarish spiral of violence and vengeance. The narrative begins with the aftermath of a brutal crime, the rape and murder of Alex, the girlfriend of Marco. As the film unfolds backward, we witness the events leading up to that night, showcasing how seemingly mundane actions are irrevocably impacted by tragedy. The cinematography is jarring, employing disturbing long takes and disorienting camera movements that create an almost unbearable tension. The emotional weight of the story, paired with brutal, graphic scenes, has led to significant controversy and conversations about the portrayal of violence and trauma in cinema, leaving viewers grappling with the harsh realities of loss and revenge. 6. Midsummer, 2019. Ari Aster's folk horror film lures viewers into bright, sunlit Scandinavian landscapes where an idyllic surface conceals a world of disturbing rituals. Following the heartbreaking loss of her family, Dani travels with her boyfriend Christian and his friends to a rural village to attend a midsummer festival that occurs only once every 90 years. What initially appears to be a beautiful celebration of life soon reveals itself as a terrifying examination of grief, community, and ritualistic sacrifice. The film's haunting visual aesthetics juxtaposed with increasingly bizarre and grotesque ceremonies create an uncanny atmosphere that explores themes of cult dynamics, psychological manipulation, and the fragility of human relationships. The slow descent from comfort into horror showcases how external beauty can mask internal malevolence. 5. Antichrist, 2009. Lars von Trier's provocative exploration of grief and despair pushes boundaries through shocking imagery and symbolic violence. The story revolves around a couple coping with the loss of their child, retreating to their remote cabin in the woods. As they attempt to reconnect, they descend into chaos as nature, personified by the forest, becomes both emblem and antagonist, reflecting their emotional turmoil. The film is notorious for its graphic depictions of pain, both physical and psychological, leading to a surreal confrontation with the dark aspects of the human psyche. The disintegrating relationship between the couple, coupled with unsettling visual motifs and the thematic interplay between pleasure and suffering, creates an unshakable sense of dread and existential contemplation. 4. Salo, or the 120 Days of Sodom, 1975. Pier Paolo Pasolini's adaptation of Marquis de Sada's work stands as a harrowing indictment of fascism and societal decadence. Set in the waning days of World War II, the narrative follows a group of wealthy libertines who kidnap and exploit a group of young adolescents in a secluded palace. The film is divided into segments corresponding to the three sections of de Sada's narrative, showcasing extreme acts of sadism, debauchery, and systemic cruelty. Its relentless depiction of psychological and physical torture serves as both political commentary and visceral shock, challenging viewers to confront the darkest sides of humanity. Occasionally beautiful in its cinematography yet relentlessly bleak in its subject matter, Salo demands introspection and evokes outrage, leaving an indelible mark on the landscape of disturbing cinema. 3. A Serbian Film, 2010. This controversial Serbian thriller delves into the underbelly of the adult film industry, featuring an ex-porn star named Milos who is drawn back into a disturbing world filled with desensitization and exploitation. Lured by the promise of a substantial payday, Milos becomes involved in a secretive production helmed by a mysterious director who pushes the boundaries of morality and legality. What unfolds next is an unrelenting cavalcade of brutality, sexual violence, and horrific acts that challenge the very essence of human decency. Its infamous scenes have sparked intense debate about censorship, artistic expression, and the limits of on-screen violence. A Serbian Film serves as a metaphor for the loss of agency and the commodification of violence in contemporary media, leaving viewers shaken and conflicted about the nature of horror and its representation. 2. Hereditary, 2018. Another entry from Ari Aster, this psychological horror film reveals the unraveling of a family after the death of their secretive grandmother. Each family member grapples with grief, but the darkest truths are soon unveiled, revealing a history of trauma and malevolence that seems to transcend generations. The film is masterful in its use of atmosphere and dread, punctuated by haunting visuals and unsettling performances, particularly from Toni Colletta's Annie, a mother tormented by her family's dark legacy. Hereditary unfolds like a modern Greek tragedy, highlighting the inescapable nature of familial curses and the fragility of sanity. The film's shocking climax and how it engages with themes of inheritance and the occult places it firmly in the realm of the disturbingly memorable. 1. The Girl Next Door, 2007. Based on the true story of the abuse and tragic death of Sylvia Likens, this film leaves a lasting mark for its harrowing portrayal of cruelty and betrayal. Set in the 1950s, it tells the story of two sisters who are left in the care of their caregiver, Ruth, after their parents are imprisoned. Ruth's sadistic tendencies surface as she subjects the older sister, Meg, to severe physical and emotional abuse, involving her children and neighborhood peers as willing participants in the torture. The normalization of violence and the moral negligence of bystanders create an environment of horror that feels all too real. Its unflinching depiction of human cruelty transcends mere shock value, forcing audiences to confront the capacity for evil that exists within society and the horrific consequences that can arise from apathy and complicity.
In a faded dream where the shadows play, I'm drifting through the night, chasing ghosts away.